Right, so most of you will probably recognise this guy, Liam Robinson, the Challenge Tour player. We had a match together start of this season, wasn't it?
It was.
And it's fair to say you edged it.
Yep, just about.
Yeah, that was obviously quite good preparation for you, playing against me, sort of then to play with some of the best players in Europe. That was probably quite a
definitely
good...
set me up for the season well.
Yeah, I thought it would. So how has the season gone so far?
Yeah, it's gone alright. Start of the season, I hadn't really played for kind of 6 months competitively, so the first couple of events were a bit rusty, just trying to find myself again. Then I had a couple of good events in a row. I made one out of the 2 cuts, but I played well in the second event as well. And then unfortunately I got ill when I was in Denmark, missed the cut there, and then I actually was really unwell in Prague and had to walk off the course after 9 holes and ended up in hospital and having brain scans and all that kind of stuff. So I'm still, if I'm being honest, recovering from that. But I went out to Sweden and was in the last group over the weekend and had some good experiences there, and obviously played the Czech Masters last week. So there's certainly been some positives, but I'm probably only just starting to really come into any kind of form at the moment.
You've been busy, haven't you? Because as well as playing, you've got your Tour Golf Network.
I have.
Which obviously I'm a proud member of.
Yeah, you are.
So for anyone who doesn't know, can you just kind of explain what that is? And
yeah, it's just kind of like, we're just a network of people that love golf. I'm trying to give an insight obviously into what I do for a living and kind of behind the scenes in the golf world on tour. I put weekly content. We've now got 2 pages, so we've got a network page which is on Facebook, just private Facebook groups. We've got 1 page which basically is for everybody to post their results, ask questions and just kind of interact, and then the other page now, which we've just added, is TGN content, which basically is weekly. I put in a tip video, a course management video showing you a hole on tour. I'm trying to think what else on there. An hour's Facebook Live where you can ask me whatever you like. We've also got one of the top 6 TPI instructors in the country who puts content in, and I obviously do kind of reviews of my rounds and give insight into, so when people are kind of watching it online, they can get more of a feel for what happened on those scores. We're at about 85 members now, and we've been kind of going for about 3 months, so yeah, it's been really, really good.
Obviously, if anybody wants to sign up, I'll put a link down below. And then today, you've had a nice meet up with some of the members and a golf day. Yeah,
we've had our kind of first ever TGN golf day. We're kind of going to be putting trips on. We have put a couple of days on in the past where I've taken a group to Woburn and we've all played and had kind of a session with Jamie Donaldson, kind of trying to give people the opportunity to see the kind of coaches that the tour players do for a fraction of the cost, and just trying to help people out really to improve. So yeah, it's been a great day today, and hopefully it'll become an annual thing, and we'll crack on.
Good stuff. I can't hold the camera any longer because it's heavy, but good stuff.
Thanks a lot, mate. Cheers. Warming up for, I normally probably spend around 25-30 minutes hitting balls, so I'll probably spend maybe 3 or 4 minutes kind of doing this and just starting to really kind of loosen up and getting my body ready. Then once I've kind of got my body going, I'll then start kind of picking out some targets. Normally out on the ranges on tour they're pretty good, so you'll kind of have sandpits or kind of signs at like 50, 75, 100, 120 or whatever, and I'll just kind of pick out a few of them. Maybe into the mat, just start feeling different yardages. What I try and do in my warm-up in particular is I try not to hit the same shot with my wedges more than once. The reason for that is obviously you start getting used to a certain distance, it's just a waste of time. It all just becomes habit rather than kind of you're about to go out and play golf. So there's no point in doing that at this time. If you don't know how far you hit it with your wedges before you tee off, you're not going to find it in your warm-up. So I'll just kind of hit a couple of different yardages and just feel a couple of different positions. A lot of the time you'll see me stand quite shut when I'm first warming up, and the reason that I do this is that with obviously the relaxed arms, I'm trying to create more of an in-to-out pass. So if I can almost get the ball turning over too much, that's kind of a good place for me to start in my warm-up, because I know which way the ball's going to go, and then all I'll do as I'm warming up is just kind of limit that a little bit. So you might see me kind of, if you did happen to be at one of my events, I might start my feet quite shut and just make sure that I'm getting the ball starting out to the right, and then it's supposed to be turning back. That one didn't. So that's kind of the shots that I'd start trying to hit. And then what I'll do as the session goes on is then I'll try and then start limiting it. I'll start almost probably hitting a 20-30 yard draw sometimes on the range, and the reason I'll do that is just to make sure it's going right to left. Do you know what I mean? And then all I'll do is then I'll start turning a bit more, kind of get my pivot going, and then that'll straighten itself out. So I almost kind of force myself into swinging it that way, rather than kind of standing there and hope it. And then that's then when I'll start picking out targets. Might pick out maybe a fairway, so somewhere between I don't know, say the blue rock and the white rock. And again, I'll just really focus on what I'm working on for the day. Just making sure that the ball starts slightly right at my target. Because when I'm playing my best golf, for me it's the ball starting slightly right of where I'm aiming, and it always kind of comes back. As soon as I start seeing the ball go right, I know there's something wrong. So, like I said, in the warm-up, all we're trying to do is just make sure that by the time we get to the first tee, we feel comfortable. So kind of really make sure that I've got that right to left shot going. Because I know that if I can stand on the range and kind of hit that shot on demand, then I know I'm feeling pretty good for the day. We'll then kind of go up through the bag normally, and obviously we get to the driver. I try not to hit too much shape with the driver. I'll kind of, when I'm swinging it good, I'll hit it, I don't know, kind of 5 yards either way. All I'm really focusing on with driver, particularly when I'm playing, is you'll see me kind of do a lot of practice swings, just step. I'm just trying to create that club head speed and make sure my body's moving just before the shot. And then I'll step in, obviously pick my target and give it hell, is the aim. With driver, something that I just really make sure with driver is just that my arms are really soft, so it's literally like my biggest focus with it is just that kind of once I'm in transition is that I'm just keeping it smooth. With driver in particular, obviously you don't want the steep angle of attack, so we need it soft and we need the body moving and making sure that we're rotating through the shot. So again, it's just kind of once I'm in at address, it's really soft in my arms, take it away.
Hi, my name's Ed Kemp. I'm from Basingstoke, play at Weybrook Park, and handicap 11.4, and unfortunately going upwards instead of downwards. TGN, I heard, actually was on Scratch Golf's channel, so basically I saw Rob, I saw the interview with Liam, so that got me interested, and then I did a bit of tweeting with Rob and Liam, and then literally from there he mentioned the TGN, and basically I signed up because it sounded like a good laugh, and yeah, glad to be here. It's awesome. Even just on Facebook, I find myself talking to the guys 24/7, but it's good because it's a great group of guys, and it's just a bit of banter, well, a lot of banter, and days like today where we're here, Haythorpe Park is a really good day, and going to Woburn was another special occasion. So yeah, and that's all in 3 or 4 months of joining up, so yeah, really glad I joined. The days like this are really good to get out, but I think just the banter, and everyone seems to encourage each other to kind of do well, so you can come back from either a really crap day and you can kind of share it, and other people have had a similar day, and everyone shares in the rest of their experiences when they do really well. So it seems like it's a collective community of just highs and lows of golf. So yeah, that's why I enjoy it.
That would be kind of my normal warm-up, guys. I just kind of go up through the bag, and then as I'm finishing off, I normally go back to kind of a lob wedge and just hit a few more feely shots. I might maybe kind of with the 7-iron, I might just kind of shape a couple just so that I know. And when I say shape a couple, I'm not kind of picking out targets, I'm just trying to make sure that I can move the ball in that direction. So again, same as I said, to hit a fade, I'd kind of set my face, stand a bit more side onto it, and then I just hold it up against the wind left to right. And then obviously if I wanted that kind of, if I had to get the ball going right to left, I might just shut the face down and my feet down a little bit, and same golf swing. But the main reason that I'd work on those is obviously just that if I've got trees in my way or whatever, then and I have to shape it, it's just nice just to know that you've done it before you tee off. Just making sure that you're really ready to go. And then like I said, I'd kind of maybe go back down to a lob wedge and just hit a couple of feely shots just before I go back to the obviously off to the tee. So I'd go back to maybe just flicking a couple into those mats, and then the last kind of shots that I'd play is probably just kind of mess around with the wedges on different flights and shots. So I'd hit a couple of high cutty ones when we're out on tour. There's a lot of pins that are kind of just over ridges or just over bunkers, and well, you saw from the pin positions that I posted, they're like 2 off the left, 2 off the right. It's just to get close to them, you need to be able to control your flight and the spin. So you actually probably hit more kind of wedge shots from, I don't know, between 80 and 100 yards that are kind of going to be cut in and just a little bit kind of softer and high that way, rather than kind of just standard pitch shots. So yeah, so that would be how I'd warm up. got any more questions, obviously.
You're talking about your main shot shape obviously being a draw. When you're actually playing, how much do you mix it up? Do you ever hit any fades or?
Not unless I have to.
Alright.
No, the minute I try and fade it, like for me, it's kind of an uncomfortable shot. Like I said, I have kind of this year, I've worked quite a bit on it. I've still not really brought it into tournament unless I have to. But for me, in the past, whenever I've tried to fade it, I've either hit big blocks or I've actually double crossed it and snap hooked it. So I've ended up in more trouble than if I just hit my standard shot. And I just kind of, I don't know if a lot of you have kind of watched, obviously Tyrrell Hatton's climbed quite high in the world recently and stuff, and he works, if you ever get the chance to see him or play with him, he literally just hits it on string. It's just literally dead straight every time. And the way he puts it is, there's not a pin you can't go out if you can hit it straight. So yeah, so I kind of try and do that. I think the higher up I've gone, I've realised that maybe I do need to learn it. Because like I said, there's certain pin positions where instead of missing a green on Europro, for example, and you've missed it and it's in this kind of lie, all of a sudden you miss a 230 yard par 3 by 2 yards and you're in stuff like this and you're short sided and you've got a 6 foot chip and you've got to hit a full flop shot out of it. It's not really that enjoyable. Pretty much a guaranteed bogey. So you do, the higher up I've gone, I've learned that obviously I have had to change my ways a little bit. I'm still not really, I wouldn't say I'm comfortable enough with the fade to kind of go, right, I want it to start on this tree and finish here, but I would say that now I can get the ball moving left to right, which we've just seen. So yeah, so that's what I'd say about
So if it's a pin that's like tucked on the right, obviously you don't want to hit a fade into it,
no.
Will you just kind of accept that that's not one for you to attack? Or?
Yeah, I just accept that I'm kind of going to hit it into 20-30 feet.
Yeah.
But if it's with like with my length on, even on tour, it's kind of like I very rarely will hit more than 9-iron into a green.
Yeah.
So it's like, because I'm hitting like what my 9-iron goes about 175. So it's, for me, it's kind of, if I'm stood there at that kind of distance, and 9-iron's not overly, I'm still comfortable to take that straight at it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If I was coming in with a 5-iron, I'd just play in the middle of the green.
Name's Lenny. Handicap is 19 at the moment, from Southampton. I watch a lot of the videos, the content. I try and take a lot of it in. Yeah, no, I really enjoy just the content he puts in there and the interaction with everyone else. It is really good. I'm only 19, so I don't take golf as serious as some of the other guys, but I think it has helped me, definitely.
At the end of the day, if you know what you're trying to do, put that into your warm-up, and then you're not going to go on the driving range and just lash balls and hope you hit a good last couple of balls to give you a bit of false confidence on the first tee. A lot of people kind of get, particularly that you see kind of with faders of the ball, they get a little bit kind of too handsy away from the ball, so it's all kind of arms, and then they get kind of a bit lead side and stuff. Whereas the reason I like that feeling that I was kind of showing is that, again, if I do it one-handed, if I make sure that this moves first, everything kind of moves together then. I think that's kind of a key point, and once you've got everything working together, it's a lot easier to keep it together the whole way through the shot, because at some point, for you to kind of create some of the positions that people create, at some point something's got to outrace the other. So the longer we can just keep it all together, it just keeps it a lot more simple. So yeah, that's why I like that kind of feeling of obviously getting it away, but also it gets your lead pec working set. Then when you're coming down into the ball and doing the step through stuff, you can then rip through into the bag and really throw it in, which is obviously what we've done on the smash bag work in the network so far.
European Tour?
Yeah.
How comfortable did you feel compared to Challenge Tour? Is it a different jump?
I felt like I belonged a lot more than I thought I would, to be honest. Like, I didn't feel overawed by anybody there. Like, obviously you sat having lunch and you've got like Westwood beef and all that kind of stuff, and just felt like anybody. It's kind of weird when you're there playing. Like, if I was there just watching the event, I'd have probably been a bit starstruck, because you know you're playing in it, you just have to get on with it, and at the end of the day they're just in the same competition as you. So, but yeah, so it wasn't as, I definitely wasn't half as nervous as I thought I'd be, which was nice. And like I said, after the 2 days, I come away kind of, last year I came away a little bit kind of maybe doubting myself a little bit, and like, God, I've got a lot of work to do. This year I've come away and gone, you know, like, I can be here. I'll be doing it again next year, so can't wait.
Kieran Ivins, I'm from Cardiff, handicap 7. I think it was after the video you did with him, and basically he said that he was starting this group, and like he sort of outlined what he was looking to achieve, and I just bought into him as a person, really, and I thought it sounded like a good group. I had to improve my game no end, and a good bit of banter on the group. Yeah, to be fair, I love it. I think it's all different types of things. It's not just golf, but there's like a nice social atmosphere there. Obviously the golf tips and course management. Really like Jamie's stuff as well about the TPI. It's just an all-round good group, to be fair. 100%. Yeah, I can't say enough about it.
Like some of the handicaps I've seen already, I think we're going to need 80 points to win today. Somebody's just gone off 16, 17. They've just trophied to about 300 at the middle. I was going to say, it feels a bit like Crime Watch, doesn't it?
Yeah, great shot. I can edit out the first one for 50 quid.
I wouldn't even go looking for that first one.
Oh, there it is. Spin. Yeah, good effort. Oh, no. Yeah, not bad. Yeah, it's coming.
First prize, 36, is Dave Roberts. From myself, I just want to thank you all for coming, and obviously not just for today, but everybody for joining up for TGN. I've got to say, obviously it's been live now for just under 3 months, well, probably a bit longer than that now, isn't it? But I've loved every second of it. I love interacting with everybody, and hopefully it will just continue to grow and go from strength to strength. Kind of put on a few more trips that we can all get together again, and then try and make this kind of an annual trip. But yeah, just obviously thank you to everybody, not just for joining, but coming today and supporting the events. And I hope we continue to have a great golfing season together and keep sharing everything that we've been doing, and obviously just let the page keep growing. And thank you very much again for coming, and I hope you all have a safe drive home.
Right, I must confess that when Liam first told me about his Tour Golf Network thing, the idea for it, I thought it sounded good, but I wasn't really sure how many people would actually pay to sign up for it. Purely because there's so much content online that people are so used to getting for free, I thought they might be reluctant to pay £10 a month to be a member of an online group. But now that I've seen it in action for a good few months, I really do think that Liam has created something that's quite different to what you can get online for free, and he gives a lot of his time and energy to it. As you'd expect, people are always asking him questions, but he replies to all of them, normally pretty quickly. People even send him golf swings, and he takes the time to look at them and give that person some individual advice. And there aren't many places where you can get that access to a player of his quality. And then there's the community side of things. So having met a load of the guys on the golf day, it's really obvious what a good support network TGN is. So if you've had a really good round and you want to share that and have a few people say well done, you can do that, and they will. Or if you've had a stinker and you want a bit of moral support, again, there'll be other people who are going through the same sort of thing, and you know, it's just more of a kind of group of mates really than anything else. So there's conversations going on in that group every single day, not just involving Liam, you know, often just between a load of different members. And I think Liam deserves quite a lot of credit for doing it. There's quite a lot of pros in his position who are obviously really good players, but for whatever reason they haven't quite made it to the absolute elite of golf yet, where you just have millions of pounds and you're not worried about money. So obviously for those guys, golf can be pretty expensive because you've got tournament entries, flights, hotels, caddies, all sorts of expenses. And you know, the prize money isn't that huge, and obviously unless you're winning an event every week, it can be actually quite hard to make ends meet. So a lot of those guys, the only way they can get by is by asking for sponsorship or donations. So a lot of them do that via like crowdfunding pages or Patreon or something. But most of them aren't offering much in return, whereas Liam has actually created something and put, like I said, a lot of time, energy and effort into it so that people are actually getting something for their money. Now obviously it won't be for everyone, but if you like the sound of it and you like the idea of supporting a talented young golf professional, I'll put a link down below, so go and check it out. Anyway, thanks as always for watching. 2 videos this week. This must be what it's like to be an actual YouTuber. So yeah, thanks again, and I'll see you in the future.